Hello, this is your host. Today we are going to talk about are care homes good for the elderly? We are going to explore some of the darker things that go on in these facilities. If you like this video, please click the thumbs up button below to stay up to date with our latest videos. Let's get started. In 2013, an investigation by ITV News revealed the extent of abuse at Winterbourne View Care Home in Bristol, UK. The undercover investigation showed how staff at the home physically and emotionally abused people in their care. The footage was shocking and disturbing, and it led to the closure of the home and the resignation of the manager. Residents may be left dirty and incontinent because staff simply do not have the time to care for them properly. Food may be left uneaten because there is no one to feed the residents, or they may be left hungry because staff do not have time to prepare meals. In some cases, residents may be left lying in their own waste because staff do not have the time or the resources to clean them up properly. This can lead to a buildup of bacteria and a higher risk of infection. One possible solution is to introduce unannounced inspections of care homes by independent inspectors. This would help to identify problems and ensure that care homes are meeting the needs of their residents. Restraints should only be used as a last resort when other methods of care have been unsuccessful. They can cause physical and psychological harm to elderly people and should only be used in situations where there is a clear and present danger. We'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Please like and share this video if you think it might be helpful to someone else. Stay up to date with our latest videos. Thanks for watching. There are a number of alternatives to restraint that can be used, such as environmental modifications, behavioral interventions, and therapeutic approaches. Environmental modifications can help to reduce the likelihood of a person wandering or becoming agitated. This can include things such as ensuring that there is adequate lighting, removing potential hazards, and providing clear signage. Behavioral interventions can also be effective in reducing challenging behaviors. This can involve things such as providing distraction or redirection, using positive reinforcement, and teaching alternative behaviors. Therapeutic approaches can also be helpful in addressing the underlying causes of challenging behaviors. This can involve working with a person to address issues such as anxiety, depression, or dementia-related behaviors. Another solution is to increase the number of care home staff through higher wages and better working conditions. This means that now more than ever it is important that we find ways to improve the quality of care that we provide to the elderly. By embracing innovation and implementing best practices, we can ensure that the elderly are able to live out their golden years in comfort, dignity, and safety. This would ensure that residents receive the level of care and attention that they need. Additionally, technology can play a role in monitoring elderly care. For example, sensors can be used to monitor movement and detect falls, while cameras can be used to monitor residents' well-being. This data can then be used to alert staff to any issues so that they can intervene quickly. It can also help to create a culture of openness and transparency in care homes, which can help to prevent abuse and neglect. Incontinence pads should be changed regularly to prevent skin breakdown and infection. However, if staff are overworked and under pressure, this may not happen. There are a number of benefits to using technology in this setting. First, technology can help to improve the quality of care that elderly people receive. For example, there are a number of devices that can be used to monitor elderly people's health, such as devices that can monitor their heart rate, blood pressure, and weight. These devices can help to identify problems early on and ensure that elderly people get the treatment they need. Technology can also be used to provide elderly people with more independence and choice. For example, there are a number of devices that can help elderly people to live more independently in their own homes, such as devices that can help them to cook meals, take medication, and access information. Finally, technology can help to reduce the cost of care for elderly people. For example, there are a number of telehealth services that can provide elderly people with remote consultations with healthcare professionals. This can help to reduce the need for expensive hospital stays and care home fees. This can lead to sore and infected skin, which can be painful and distressing for the resident. Care home abuse comes in many forms: physical, psychological, sexual, and financial. It can be perpetrated by other patients or residents or by staff. Many are placed in care by their families who can no longer cope with their care needs. Care homes can provide a safe and secure environment for the elderly, especially those who are unable to live independently due to physical or mental health problems. They can also provide social interaction and activities which can help to keep the elderly active and engaged. Care homes can also give respite to families who are struggling to cope with the care needs of an elderly relative. This can be a difficult and emotional decision for families, and it can be traumatic for the elderly person being moved into care. Staff should be trained in how to interact with elderly people in a respectful and compassionate way. They should also be aware of the signs of abuse and neglect and know how to report it. If you suspect that a loved one is being abused or neglected in a care home, there are steps you can take to help. Firstly, talk to the staff at the care home and express your concerns. If this does not work, you can then complain to the care home manager or owner. If this does not work, you can contact the local authority or the Care Quality Commission. You can also contact charities such as Help the Aged or Age UK for advice and support. When someone is placed in care against their will, it can cause them a great deal of stress and anxiety. This can make it difficult for them to settle in and adjust to life in the care home. It can also make them more likely to develop psychological problems such as depression and anxiety. Abuse by other residents is often overlooked, but it does happen. On occasion, this can include theft from other residents, physical assaults, sexual abuse, and emotional abuse. Some residents may become withdrawn and stop engaging with others, while others may become agitated and start wandering around the home or trying to leave. This can be dangerous for the residents, especially if they have dementia or other cognitive impairments. Some care homes try to limit the amount of time that residents spend watching television because they believe that it is not mentally stimulating. However, TV can be a source of comfort and familiarity for some residents, especially those with dementia. Taking away something that a person with dementia recognizes and enjoys can cause them distress. However, it is important to remember that not all care homes are bad, and there are plenty of good carers who do their job well and treat the elderly with dignity. For example, many care homes are understaffed, which means that residents may not receive the level of care and attention that they need. Some residents may be left alone for long periods of time without any stimulation or interaction. This can be very lonely and can lead to a decline in mental and physical health. However, there are many cases where care home abuse has occurred, and in some cases it has even been fatal. A lot of care homes don't offer adequate mental stimulation for their residents, which can lead to boredom, frustration, and even aggression. In addition to the potential for physical and emotional abuse, there are other reasons why care homes are not always the best option for the elderly. There are also many stories of neglect in care homes. It is also important to note that not all elderly people who go into care homes do so voluntarily. Despite all of these negative aspects, many elderly people do benefit from living in care homes. Some of the negative experiences of care home residents could be avoided if staff were better trained and more attentive. So what is the solution here? How can we ensure that the elderly are treated with dignity and respect in care homes? The use of technology in elderly care is becoming increasingly important. Another issue in elderly care is the use of restraints. As the population of the world continues to age, the demand for elderly care services is going to continue to grow. What are your thoughts? Are care homes good or bad? Do you have any experiences you'd like to share?